Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children and dogs of all ages. LightsThunderAction, episode 65. Sound the news klaxon! Will be live just after this song. Also, enjoy this great graphic about Megacon. We'll see you there.
We got a sticky situation, honey. Can't you see we got 1,130,000 zombies? It's like for the living dead to go. Buzz, buzz all around your head to go. Pesticides, genetically altered minds, infested these were dead today. Those from the grave instead, reanimated zombies ago. Buzz, buzz, all they please, Zombeez, zombies, Zombeez, zombies.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. It is Saturday, July 24th, 2021. Welcome to episode 65 of Lights, Thunder, Action, where every week two Thunder buddies discuss all things Marvel, Star Wars, DC, and the latest happenings in the entertainment industry. I'm Thomas Carter Rochester.
My name's David Thompson, and coming up on today's show, it is a What the News special. We've got a lot of news to cover. We haven't been talking the news for a while now, Thomas, and we've got 13 days to catch up on, and there's been a lot of actually recent news that's very timely. It just came out yesterday. We're going to dive into, including there's a new Batgirl, another Superman project, and the possibility of Daredevil's Kingpin being in the MCU. Wow, do we have a lot to cover. Sound the alarm, because this is about to get crazy. Thomas, what do you got for me before we dive into all of that?
Well, ladies and gentlemen, as you know, we are live beaming directly into your homes and phones every week via our LightsThunderAction Facebook and Twitter, and the HWWS Web TV channel on YouTube and Twitch. All of those links can be found at Linktr.com/LightsThunderAction, all one word, no hyphens, no spaces. Be sure to like, subscribe, follow to view the live version of our show where you can interact with us and see our ugly ass mugs. But if you don't want to look at our mugs and you just want to hear our beautiful voices, David, where can everyone find the audio version of our podcast?
Yes, you guys can find us on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, our hosting site, Spreaker, along with a bunch of other podcasting platforms and apps. Please let us know if you need help finding us. It's just LightsThunderAction. And then once again, subscribe, follow, keep up with that. Our full catalog of live shows, interviews, Loki specials are all up now on all of those different places. We've had some issues when it comes to our cover art. There's our new logo from Tom Drew, which is beautiful. Our old logo, my ugly creation that's still wandering around. They should all be there. You just check the dates, and if it's recent, you'll know what it is. That it actually was a recent episode. So we apologize for that. But yes, please follow, subscribe there. We really appreciate you. Keep up with that. Going for a jog, driving your car, can't catch our live show, don't want to look at us. Our audio podcast is available. Please go follow us there. Thomas, how you doing,
David?
Man?
Good, man. I feel like
I got a puppy here.
What?
He's wondering why I'm talking. He's like, why aren't you talking to me?
Which doggy's name?
Cosmo, like the fairy.
Oh my God, Wanda!
Hi, boys.
Not that Cosmo. Different Cosmo.
No, it is. He's just not named.
Okay.
He's not technically named after the fairy, but that's just his name. Yeah.
Well, it works well. Well, hello, Cosmo. Even though you can't hear me, I mean, he probably can. He's got super dog hearing. David, dude, it's been over a week since we've had a show, which is insane because our date got pushed back 3 times this week.
Yeah, that's very true.
How you been, bro? It's been so long. I miss you.
Yeah, man, I've been good. We'll dive into it in a second, but I've been watching some different things that I liked a lot. Yeah, I've been good. You know, just we're not talking about it today, obviously, but just waiting around for that Spider-Man No Way Home trailer. The days keep ticking on. I'm moving very soon in just a matter of days, so a lot of things are changing for me personally. Took the poster off the wall and mounted or just kind of propped it up right there for today's show, and it's not going back up because I'm moving. So yeah, things are going well. I wanted to dive into this really quickly with what I've been watching lately. So I saw M. Night Shyamalan's Old, this brand new thriller movie that just came out. That just came out just yesterday, and the reviews for it are trash. Like Rotten Tomatoes, the critical score and the audience score are both bad. Me and my girlfriend Jasmine went into this theater. I looked at Rotten Tomatoes like I always fall into the trap of doing before I go see a movie and kind of prejudged it. So I kind of walk in thinking like, okay, I guess this movie's not going to be that great, but we still were very interested in seeing it based on the trailer. I'm sitting there in the theater watching this movie, engaged the entire time. We're kind of like talking back and forth, like, oh my gosh, what's happening? This and that. Super engaging, locked in. And in the back of my head, I'm wondering, when does it get bad? Like, when does the movie, like, where's the part where people are complaining about? Like, where does the movie fall off a cliff? And it never happens. I think the movie is great. Possibly my favorite movie of the year so far.
Wow.
I don't know. I really like Quiet Place 2 and some others. So I'd have to really think about it. But I thought it was a great movie. Like, I seriously think it was a very good movie that kept me engaged the entire way. Really interesting concept. I thought they had a well executed, like the way they tell the story is really well done in my opinion. And I liked the twists and turns, and I'm telling you, man, underrated is that movie. Like, I don't understand the gripes with it. I think some people are complaining about the ending, which I genuinely don't understand. And I'm not going to dive into any bit of the plot or anything. I just think that M. Night Shyamalan's Old, which is out in theaters right now, I recommend it. People should go check it out, and it is underrated. Like, I would not believe those reviews. My review is that it's a very good movie and has no like dull moments to me. It's like, it's rare these days to walk into a theater and be engaged from start to finish, right?
Yeah.
And wow, like this movie really did that for me, and I couldn't recommend it more. And I'm very confused based on the reviews. Like the fact that it's like in the 40s on Rotten Tomatoes, like even if it was like the 60s, maybe low 70s, I'm like, oh, okay, like that makes sense. But like bad, it is rotten. I do not understand, but that's my little rant on that. Go check out Old. I think it's a really good movie. I understand the hate for it. I also watched Shark Beach with Chris Hemsworth on Disney Plus. You watched that last week. That was a fun time. I really enjoyed that little story. I liked Hemsworth's narration and kind of like talking about interaction and like kind of like the relationship between human and shark and how to live, together. And I thought that was really cool. Also, I'm sure you watched this as well, was Loki Assembled. I loved Loki Assembled. It was funny. I don't think I ever finished the Falcon the Winter Soldier one because I think I kind of like got disinterested like halfway through or just kind of like switched the channel. And I'll probably finish it at some, or like, rewatch it at some point. Loki, I was engaged the whole time. I loved how they like broke down each character and kind of like each actor and them joining. And I really, especially Loki spoilers, the Jonathan Majors, He Who Remains kind of breakdown and talking about like, especially when they explicitly were like, oh, like his variant is Kang, which I guess they hadn't explicitly said yet. And I love seeing, I think a lot of us, especially like, journalists and, at the Direct and just us on this podcast and other people, they never say anything officially, but you just think what it is just like, I guess like you kind of just like, infer that is what it is, but I always do like hearing them officially say certain things, and I liked hearing that confirmation that like, his variant, and they said a variant too, which I thought was interesting, not variants. Like his variant is Kang, and I thought it was. I was surprised they kind of said that and didn't just leave it as he was He Who Remains. Whatever happens next, you'll find out at a later date. I liked how they kind of actually, opened up to the plans of the future. Anyway, really enjoyed Loki Assembled. I absolutely love seeing the old footage of Tom Hiddleston as Loki, and his narration was awesome. Like you can just tell how much he adores this character, how much it means to him and his journey and all the various things. But enough about me. Thomas, what have you been watching?
Terry McIver just posted in the comments, are you making an appearance as Kang and Loki? He said no. Well, he didn't lie. So so that's perfect. Oh, is Kang gonna appear in Loki? I have no idea what you're talking about. So brilliant. I watched Loki Assembled. I've been super busy as well, working all the time, doing a bunch of different crap, hanging out with my nephews. I did that on Thursday. I actually got some actual vacation time to spend and go swimming and get hella sunburnt. But yeah, dude, I've been good. Because I've been doing a lot of stuff at home, like getting work done, that I've been watching a bunch of stuff. David, are you ready for this list?
I'm ready.
All right, so I've watched The Witches, a 1990 movie that is made by the Jim Henson Company. Very, very similar to Labyrinth. Very good, very old, very weird. Absolutely a movie for me. Highly recommend. David, I think this is a movie where I can recommend to you, and you're going to come back and be like, well, I never saw that coming. It's weird. I loved it. Highly recommend. There was a remake in 20-something. I've been informed it's not anywhere as close to as good, so we'll see. I jumped back into Once Upon a Time. A friend of mine was just pushing me to do it, so I did. I jumped right back into season 4. I'm like 4 episodes in. I'm going to take my sweet time with this because, this is a show that is like I used to watch back when it was first coming on TV because of TV and pop culture class at Florida Tech with Dr. Pertigal. That was one of the shows that we watched a bunch of stuff from, and like it hooked me. So, which ironically, that is the class where I was like, oh, if I do this same analyzation here, it's just basically going to be the same work that I need to do as an actor. So it worked out really well. that class opened up my eyes to a lot of things in the world. I've also watched, David, I stepped out of my comfort zone and watched Fear Street 94 last night, again at the behest of a friend of mine. Holy shit, dude, that movie is my favorite thing about the movie is how they kind of stretch the kills out, right? It starts and you have this big kill and they make you care about these couple characters like Maya Hawke is opening the movie and I'm like, yeah, okay, cool. And then spoiler alert, she dies in the opening scene and you're like, wait, who am I supposed to be rooting for in this movie? It's crazy. Really good. And the main characters, none of them die until the end of the movie. And then you just have random people you've never met, never seen. They're the ones who are the cannon fodder throughout the movie. That when you get to that end, it's like, dude, all of these people could die and none of them might live. And it's crazy. Holy crap. Really good. Highly recommend Fear Street 94. I'm probably going to watch Fear Street 1978 today or tomorrow. And then the 1600 ones. Cause, they've released the whole trilogy on Netflix, David.
Okay.
All at once. They just dropped the trilogy. And I thought that was a brilliant idea. And I found out about it when I went and saw Black Widow. I saw the first trailer for it, and it was like an entire trilogy on Netflix. And I was like, oh, well, I mean, okay. That sounds weird. That's an interesting ploy. So let me hop into that. Right. David, are you ready for the rest of the stuff I've been watching?
Yes.
First off, Loki Assembled, of course. I loved it. Highly recommend. If you love behind the scenes, go watch this. This is the best one. This beats the Disney Gallery. Right? Mm-hmm. The narration by Tom Hiddleston is everything in this entire thing. The opening discussing time, how many days it was filming, how many seconds that was, how long it took to finish, how many hours were edited, and then like they whittle all those down to 6 episodes at like 78. I don't remember, a lot of minutes.
It gives you a new appreciation for the show, I think, too, and kind of how they put it together, and just the set design and the big sets they made is just so cool.
And the thing that I love the most is when you watch these behind the scenes, they'll kind of be like, oh, yeah, like we were filming for like 6 months and blah, 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 blah. So you're like, oh, okay, it takes like 6 months to film and then at this X amount of time. But this broke it down into actual days, actual moments, actual time spent filming, all the way down to this is what you see on screen.
It was the best assembled so far.
Oh, head and shoulders above Disney Gallery. I liked the first season of Disney Gallery just because it was so into the creation of each little aspect. And the second one was like an episode by episode. We're doing this, we're doing that. It's a little bit of a honky-tonk Western in space. I don't know where the hell that came up. I was just having fun. Speaking of having fun, Don Cheadle has the most fun of anybody in Space Jam: New Legacy. That movie is so, as a movie, okay, it's all right. It's got a decent plot. It makes sense going out. There are logical choices made by characters. Let me just say real fast, LeBron is not an actor. Neither was Michael Jordan. I have never liked these movies for them. I have liked these movies for my buddy Tyler, who's just over here shooting like MJ. I love these movies because of mother effing Looney Tunes. We talking Bugs Bunny. Lola Bunny is the OG.
Zendaya was good as her too. People were like hating on that like casting because it seemed like they just cast Zendaya because it's Zendaya. But I liked her as the voice, and I liked Lola's like little story and how she's with the Amazons. I don't want to get too much into it, but I liked the movie too.
My favorite thing is that it's not just like, oh, we're redoing Space Jam. It's like, hey, we're about to give you all of our IP in your face, just like Ready Player One did with all these characters we know and love.
Yes, I loved that. But that was the most fun part. It's like just seeing Pennywise and whomever else in the background. It was so much fun. Iron Giant and Kong are just kind of back there, like
chilling,
like on the hill.
And then spoiler alert: when Don Cheadle's like, "King Kong ain't got nothing on me," and they cut to Kong, and he's like, and I'm like, So Space Jam, great film, highly recommend it. What else have I been watching? Oh, Clerks 2 recently celebrated, I believe, its 15th anniversary. I don't remember the last time I saw Clerks 2, so I went back and watched it. What a movie, man. What a timely movie. I love it so much. This is why Kevin Smith, you know, at the end of the day, it's just a guy on his last day of work leaving to go down to Florida and marry. And then all this other stuff, that's backstory that we don't see, is told to us. And it's just so brilliantly done. And it reminds me, like Kevin Smith, all of his films to an extent are two people doing something specific. His blockbuster style films where it's like action adventure, Jay and Silent Bob reboot, or Strike Back and reboot. You know, it's totally different.
Right.
But in this case, you know, it's like Dazed and Confused, which is, you know, shout out Captain Matt Rimke. He understands the love of Dazed and Confused, man. And if you don't, you'd be a lot cooler if you did, man. It's just like those films. It's just simple. It's about the characters, about their life and what they're doing. And of course, yesterday, Masters of the Universe Revelation, talking about Kevin Smith, man, came out. And I watched the first 2 episodes. I think I watched like the third one, but I was falling asleep. So I have to go back and watch it. Absolutely great. And that's what I've been watching. I probably watched more. I mean, obviously NFL Live, but you know, it's been 13 days since we've had a What Have You Been Watching?
Yeah, I was gonna say there's definitely more that I watched. I don't know if I ever even talked about Space Jam, but yeah, I watched that the first day it came out too.
Okay, real fast. What would you rank Space Jam out of 10? No thinking.
7.5.
I agree, actually. I was like, I might bump it up to an 8 just because it gave me the Easter eggs and the characters, the stuff I love. Boring. The first hour is super boring.
Yeah.
Somebody was like, I watched it until they met bugs, and I was like, you watched the worst part. Keep watching.
You starts to kind of move, and like the cameos. There's one specific cameo that I really loved.
Oh yeah. There were let me just say, for our show, they do 2 or 3 specific DC cuts and like specific things in there. And I'm gonna spoil this little thing. I was like, oh, is that Bruce Timm's Batmobile? And then when the Justice League, like Justice League Unlimited from my childhood, shows up on screen, I was like, oh my god, life's good. They gave me my Justice League.
I saw some people criticizing it, like, oh, did I just watch a big Warner Brothers like ad? And I'm like, I mean, you did, but it was so much fun.
Like, it's the same thing as fandom, DC fandom. Yeah, it's what it's for. But did you have fun?
Right.
Yeah, I loved that. And of course, where Lola Bunny is, let's just say Amazonian material. But David, let's stop talking about what we've been watching and let's talk a little bit about what people can watch when it comes to us, because we mentioned it briefly, but let's go ahead and make a big deal about it. Inside the headlines will be, I've messed that up. LightsThunderAction will be at Megacon Orlando. We'll be having our first ever panel at a convention. It will be Inside the Headlines, Friday, August 13th at 2:45 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, only at Megacon. We'll talk to the HWWSWebTV family. We may be live streaming. We may not. It's important to note, David, that not only is it our first panel, it'll be the first time David and I have ever been in the exact same place in space and time recording our show in any format. And I, for one, cannot wait to bring the insanity. I don't know how we're going to whittle down our bullshit into 45 minutes.
That's the thing, right? That's what I'm kind of nervous about. But yeah. Guys, I mean, if you're going to Megacon, please come check us out. Check out our panel. It should be fun. We're just going to talk the news, kind of maybe try to get the audience involved, whoever's there. Like, you'll hear me and Thomas go back and forth on whatever's happening. Who knows? Maybe we'll have a Spider-Man trailer by then. That would be really cool. But there's always things going on. I think it'd be fun to talk kind of about the industry as a whole and news and stuff like that. And just kind of, get some people talking about movies and the industry and everything we talk about here. So kind of just like live for this in person. Kind of our show in 45 minutes, kind of talking the news and getting everyone's thoughts on everything.
Yeah, we will be live and in your house. Trademark WWE. Sorry, I gotta be real. But that brings us to our first ad break. It's gonna be a shorty. And we were talking about puppies earlier and doggies, so stop buying them and adopt them, por favor.
Are you looking for a special friend? One who loves you unconditionally.
16,000 animals are euthanized every day. If we know that breeders and puppy mills are profiting while hurting our animals, we need to stop funding their business.
A live animal isn't a status symbol or a fashion statement. It's no longer cool to carry around your puppy in a pink purse. Invite love into your home by bringing new life to an animal in need.
This is an opportunity for you to be part of the greater good, to be part of the solution. We can't keep buying our dogs while thousands are waiting for us in shelters.
Team up with us and help spread the word that the coolest thing to do is rescue a life. Before you buy your next pet, please take a look around at your local shelter.
Please, stop buying animals. Be part of positive change. Adopt.
A small town coroner has to team up with her ex-fiance to save her town from a swarm of mutant honeybees. There's action, drama, humor, maybe even a flamethrower or two. There's definitely a ton of bad bee puns and a very unlikely Hawaiian-wearing hero. This classic sci-fi feature cheese fest, written and directed by Alicia Marie and starring local talent from the Emerald Coast, invites you to join our journey from conception to reception by visiting Linktr.com/Zombeez the movie to keep up with all the buzz and donate to GoFundMe. Again, Linktr.com/Zombeez the movie, Zombeez the movie. No hyphens, no spaces. And we're back, ladies and gentlemen. Now, it's time for this beautiful journalist to my right to enlighten us with new information from across the multiverse. He works for the direct. He works for the Insider. He is David Thompson. You see him here every week, and that's why it's everyone's favorite segment. What the news?
All right, starting off today hot with a new Dune trailer. This movie comes out October 22nd in theaters and on HBO Max. Not Thomas's birthday, unfortunately. He'll have to wait 3 weeks after that. We're gonna dive into this a little bit. It's a fairly long. It's a full trailer. It's almost 3.5 minutes. I have the graphic novel. I need to make sure I read it before I go to the theater. Even though it's part of me, it's like, wait, do I watch the movie then read it, or do I walk in knowing what happens if I read the graphic novel? Maybe you guys can help me out with that. What do you think?
I enjoy that, and I'm also gonna like take the same thing and add the same, go down the same avenue, but instead of the graphic novel, should I watch the original Dune movie and then watch this one? I kind of want to because I love Kyle MacLachlan.
Yeah,
he's a really good actor. But I've watched the trailers that these are like shot for shot made from, and I gotta say, I don't know if I want to go back first and then know all the plot and then come in and be like, oh wow, it's so much more of a spectacle.
We can hit play or whatever, but in this trailer, we do really get more of the plot. You know, kind of we see like Timothée Chalamet and Zendaya, like their connection, and kind of this space, kind of a space odyssey. It feels like we're getting ourselves into, and I can't talk highly enough about the cast. Like this movie, I'm really curious how it's projecting with the box office and the hype around it, because like the cast alone shouldn't be able to generate a boatload of money. Oscar Isaac, Dave Bautista, Zendaya, Timothée Chalamet, and Josh Brolin. I mean, Jason Momoa got Aquaman to make $1 billion.
And it's not in our news, but Jason Momoa is going blonde for Aquaman. But back to Dune.
I also really like Timothée Chalamet. I know. I don't know. I don't know if he's controversial. Not controversial, but like divisive. Like I don't know if people love him. Like is he really the next big thing? I think he's a really great actor. I loved him in Little Women. Florence Pugh is also great in that movie. That movie in general is just really good. And I think he looks absolutely amazing in this. And in this trailer, kind of talking over it a little bit. Yeah, it's cool seeing like Brolin kind of as like a.
Look at that beard. I am smiling.
He's like a kind of like a sergeant or like a corporal or something. And then his dad is Oscar Isaac. I think it's really interesting.
Interessante indeed.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, this just looks so epic. Who was that actress?
That she is from a lot of things. I don't remember her name.
I was gonna say because she looks familiar right off the bat.
Immediately in my head, I think Mission Impossible.
Yes,
she's run some other things though too. But yes, she's also great.
Yeah, so I know nothing about this
That's
entire franchise.
I don't know anything either, but it looks awesome.
Oh, whoa, shaved Momoa?
Momoa, yeah.
Whoa. Big explosions. Oh my god. Fire everywhere. Dots on their head. Look at that beard from Oscar.
I mean, this is an epic movie. Like I can't imagine watching this on my phone on HBO Max. Like this is an IMAX experience, I would imagine. Like I mean, Dennis Villanueva, that's how you say his name, right? Yeah.
Yes.
He was saying like they were fighting to put this only in theaters. That didn't happen, but you know for a fact this is best enjoyed in a theater. I mean, this just looks like a grand scale film.
This is
a possible space battle. Like
this is definitely on that, gotta see it on the big screen vibe that Godzilla vs. Kong brought.
Yeah.
Like I don't want to watch these guys fight on a TV. I want them to encompass me and scare me. Like
Warner Brothers.
There.
Yeah, it's like Warner Brothers constantly in 2021 putting out theater films that are also on a streaming service. Like, come on. All their movies are better in theaters and like made for theaters.
They are, and it's important to note. We'll get to this in a little bit, David. But we were talking about Space Jam, and before we got on, you told me they dropped 77%.
Yeah,
like that's not good. That's not good.
Yeah,
and it's gonna be, this is gonna be on HBO Max. You gotta expect is gonna be the same thing.
Yeah,
so
that's the thing, right? Like we'll see with Suicide Squad, and we'll talk about a little about this later when we get into Marvel news, kind of like the box office and kind of like what's happening right now. But
yeah,
Suicide Squad for WB will be a bit of a test to see like what a movie can really do, especially now that like a lot of theaters are really reopened. People are heading back out of the theater, at least for the opening weekend. Like we've seen with Black Widow and Space Jam, those opening weekends have done well, but after that, not so much. And I think that a lot of that has to do with the option to stream it. And on HBO Max, it's free with a subscription. Thomas, where's your hype level out of 100, as you wrote right here?
Honestly, after watching that trailer, it's pretty high, man. Like, as you know, it was at a full tilt 1 million because it was going to be on my birthday, and I love movies. I don't care about my birthday. I was supposed to have the Batman on my 30th birthday, which was my first superhero. So it was fitting. And the knockoff tossed away. Thanks a lot for that, COVID. And then it was Dune, and I was like, a good consolation prize, a giant space odyssey epic, which, if you know me and you know that my obsession with Star Wars and all the ink that I got for it, yeah, I'm all about that. Unfortunately, that didn't pass, so I don't really have anything cool coming out on my birthday. But Dune, solid in the 80s. I give it an 87 out of 100 on my hype level.
Yeah, I mean, this is something like this is a project, or I guess like an IP that I don't know anything about. But the fact that the cast is what it is, it just looks incredible. Like this, it looks like something that like the Academy would take a second look at. And I think, like I just mentioned, I think Timothée Chalamet is a great actor. Him leading the way, I'm very excited for that. Another Zendaya movie. We just talked about her as Lola from Space Jam. She'll be MJ later in the year in Spider-Man. Love her, and just everyone else. There's a lot of MCU people. There's Brolin, there's Oscar Isaac now, who's going to be Moon Knight, and there's Zendaya. So it's cool seeing all these people that are connected to Marvel as well. But
Mm-hmm.
I'll see what I do when I bought the graphic novel a while ago. I haven't read it yet. I don't know if it's gonna I might read it after just because I kind of want to go into this fresh and not knowing anything. Or, we'll see. I could go the other direction. But yes, my hype level is similar in the 80s because I'm not familiar with the IP, but for not knowing what it is, the cast and just the way that trailer specifically looks really has me excited to check this out. Opening day IMAX. That's my plan. Definitely not an HBO Max. But hey,
yes, I agree.
Speaking of HBO Max,
before we jump to our next news segment, I really want to shout out Willow in the comments. She said she's been hoping for a Fear Street series for a long time. Willow, question: is there like a book series? Is that a comic thing? Apparently, it's IP that I didn't know about. So if you could drop that in the comments, and if you've never listened to Lights Thunder Action, David and I don't like being scared. So
generally no. Yes.
Generally no. So when he said I'm gonna go to a spooky movie and it's old, and I was like, oh, the M. Night eventually I was like, oh, the M. Night Shyamalan movie. Cool, that looked interesting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's not like a horror movie. It's a thriller. Yeah.
Love a good suspense thriller. But back to the Max. Michael B. Jordan Soup series is coming along. Good or bad move, David?
Yeah, so I think my first reaction, I would say, is a bad move before I dive into this. It's a confusing move. I'll write in my new answer. It's a confusing move. So reading this off the direct.com, Sam Hargrave wrote this up for us. An exclusive report from Collider has revealed that Creed star Michael B. Jordan and his production company Outlier Society are in early development on a Black Superman limited series for HBO Max. Sound familiar? Unlike the J.J. Abrams produced Black Superman project, which will center around Kal-El, Jordan's will center around Val-Zod, or the Val-Zod iteration of the character, who is Black within the DC Comics. So it's a different character. It's a whole different project on HBO Max. Collider's source confirmed that Outlier Society has hired a writer for the project, which Jordan will produce and potentially star in. However, he is yet to formally commit to taking the role. Here's the thing. We've got the J.J. Abrams, Superman movie coming out that's supposed to be the first Black Superman, and he's going to be portraying, reportedly, Kal-El, Clark Kent. And there was always talk about how Michael B. Jordan had talked to WB about a potential Black Superman project for years and years. And we thought until this point, this was just that movie was all of this coming to fruition. Those conversations with Michael B. Jordan, that was all the same thing. And now we're learning that not only are they making another Superman movie, but they're making a Superman miniseries with Val-Zod. And I'm just sitting here we got Superman and Lois, we got Supergirl and the Flash, we got a new Superman movie, we got a new Superman miniseries, which is Val-Zod, a new character. What happened to Man of Steel 2? I'm so upset that 2013 Man of Steel comes out. It's going to be 2022 in 6 months or whatever. And there's no Man of Steel. It's never going to happen. Henry Cavill could be done with the character. We have a million, billion, gazillion Superman things in the works all of a sudden. Live action, mind you. And nothing is Henry Cavill. And I like the idea of the Coates. How do you say his first name? The writer for I always forget.
I forget as well, Mike is there.
Anyway, that the movie with a Black Superman, him being Clark Kent, I think it's a cool idea. I will be there opening day. I like the idea of that, and it sounds interesting to me, especially if it's kind of like the Batman, where it's in its own universe, not in the DCEU or whatever. But just the fact that now they're making this new Michael B. Jordan thing, this is another example of Warner Brothers, in my opinion, just kind of throwing things at a wall and waiting for something to stick. And it's I get where, this is a different character. It's Val-Zod. The movie's going to go in a Clark Kent direction. I'll watch all of it. I think they actually both, as individual projects, sound interesting to me, for sure. But the fact that it's all happening at the same time and Cavill's just out, apparently, just sucks for me. I'll check both these out, but I think it goes to Warner Brothers continually just kind of throwing things at a wall, hoping something sticks, especially with the Superman character. Thomas, what did you think?
I am all the way for this. I do understand your frustration with not having another Cavill-led Superman film. I concur. I like Man of Steel. Everyone who hates on Man of Steel, I'm just like, I don't get the hate. I get the hate in Batman versus Superman. I get the hate in Justice League. To me, the biggest complaints are just they're just long, Specifically, Batman Superman is long and droll in emotion, very downtrodden. Mm-hmm. Nobody wants to sit there for 3 hours watching that shit. Sitting through 2 hours of the Joker was tough enough. It's emotionally draining. So, a Michael B. Jordan Superman series that's been rumored for a while, I am all in on that because, as we've discussed many times, David, I love long-form storytelling much more than short-form. I love movies so much. I love when you get a trilogy, hence Fear Street. I'm like, well, they have an entire, mythology built, and the way they do it in the movie, brilliant. So that's what sucks me in is the mythology about the world building inside of the movie is some of my favorite. It's what I love about filmmaking. The fact that they're about to give Michael B. Jordan a series at all. A, hooked. That it's about Superman. B, hooked. That it is about Val-Zod, you said, yes?
Val-Zod, yeah.
Super hooked because it is going to be the first incarnation of Val-Zod we've ever seen. Mm-hmm. And it's Michael B. frackin' Jordan, which, spoiler alert for Space Jam, he's got a cameo because they went and found Michael Jordan, but it's the wrong Michael Jordan. And I'm so happy they did that because now he's going to be Superman.
It's important to know we don't know if he's actually going to play the character. He's just producing as of right now.
Rumored to be playing. I'm going to just jump the gun and say that he's playing. Especially, considering that, we know one Michael Jordan used to be Jumpman, and now this one is going to be Superman. I think it's very apropos.
Yeah.
Staying on the HBO Max train, HBO Max has cast Batgirl finally. And then once we're done talking, David, my question is, where does this hype rank for you?
Yeah, so reported by The Wrap, initially, the In the Heights star, which I think is one of the only things I think she's a singer-songwriter, and Leslie Grace has been tapped to play Batgirl, Barbara Gordon in the upcoming HBO Max film. This isn't a limited series, it's a HBO Max film about Batgirl, and I don't really know what to think about this series right now, or this movie. I wish it was a theater movie because I'm genuinely less excited that it's a movie only on streaming about the superhero movie that's Batgirl. That seems like it'd be a fun thing to go out to the theater and watch, not sit in but maybe that's a thing, Thomas. I'm the kind it's oh, it's in the theater. Yeah, let's go see it. Not especially that it's a superhero movie. That's the disconnect. And I'm curious, we'll never even really know how it did. Okay, it's just, it came out, and, I guess maybe if they do a second one or something. And we also don't know if this connects in any way to anything. Seems like it doesn't. But I don't know. I didn't see In the Heights, so I don't really know about the actress. But at this point, with the whole HBO Max deal of it, I'm very indifferent on this entire movie, and not even something I would jump out of my seat to see, even though I love Barbara Gordon. Very great character, right?
That's really messed up that you said you wouldn't jump out of your seat for Barbara Gordon. That is so offensive to Barbara Gordon after the Killing Joke. How could you, David?
That was maybe a poor use of words. Thomas, what are you thinking about this?
I'm hype. I'm so hype. You know me. I don't give a damn what the color of a character is. I care about the character. If they do the character justice. I've not seen In the Heights, and now I'm probably going to backtrack the whole I might watch Fear Street because I think I might watch In the Heights because I wanted to see it. It's a Lin-Manuel Miranda, musical, and it looks so good. I love musicals. Top 3 favorite genres for sure, behind superheroes and action comedy. So love it, and I'm really intrigued to just go do a little bit of research on this.
Yeah.
And I don't care if it's connected, but as we're, our next story, not our next story, a couple stories coming up will kind of hint at why I think this will be connected to some stuff. And all I'm gonna say is Batman.
I mean, maybe they're doing a whole HBO Max kind of verse with like even the Val Zod thing. I mean,
Yes.
I don't know.
Yes.
I don't know, because
Yes.
it's clear they're trying to build out this. They're trying to make HBO Max really a strong streaming service with exclusive content. It's interesting that they're doing movies. It's like as if it's like, what if Marvel Studios was like, oh, one of our movies is going to be only on Disney Plus? Like, that'd be crazy.
Yeah,
and I would
agree.
hate that.
I would hate it too.
So
I'm not a fan that it's only on HBO Max because, like you said, how do we know if it's doing well? How do we know if people are watching? I guess we got to go to Twitter, but in our world on Twitter, it's just a sounding bubble of nerds. It's just nerds talking nerd stuff. So I could take a guess right now. I could pick 5 random people from the folks I see regularly on my Twitter feed who probably wouldn't like it, and the rest would be like, yeah, it's a good.
I mean,
without knowing anything else about this film, without having seen it, that's probably how it's going to rank out.
One thing, sitting here thinking, maybe they would have never made a Batgirl movie without HBO Max. So
No, I disagree with that.
I don't know. I feel like in some ways HBO Max, like the limited series with Val Zod, is giving more creative ideas, actual live action, portrayals, that we would have maybe never seen if it was the old format, where it's like, if you're putting something in theaters, it needs to be a hit. You're putting out Man of Steel and Batman versus Superman and these big blockbuster things. Batgirl, maybe didn't push the needle as much, they don't think, in a theater, but it could be a very good, valuable, movie on their streaming service. So I guess I'm back and forth on it, but personally, I just want to go see a movie in a theater, and that's kind of my biggest gripe with this. The casting, I don't know, because I don't know the actress, but it seems like she'll do a fine job. I really have no idea.
Yeah,
I definitely don't give a damn that she's not white. I couldn't care less about that.
Oh, yeah, no. And it's interesting because we're actually about to get Barbara Gordon in Titans in 3 weeks. It premieres the day before, or the day of our panel at Megacon. Will we be talking Titans? No, because David doesn't watch it.
No.
Yeah, I'm really excited for that. And I know that they were trying to do a Batgirl film and they had Joss Whedon attached. Ugh, that didn't turn out so well. So I know they wanted to push it into the theaters, and it's an important character. It was created in the 60s, I'm pretty certain, on the Batman show. Really quick on this topic before we move on, because we're about to move on swiftly. Terry McIver says it all connects after the Flash, not necessarily directly though, and I like that, and I like your idea that they're trying to do an own HBO Max verse in the superhero world, because you can do that, and not only can you do that, you can have that verse, the Titans verse, the Young Justice verse, and eventually, I mean, they already have Superman and Lois and Batwoman on there, so now you've got the CW verse on there as well. HBO Max could be the nexus point, winky face, of all the DC multiverses. And then Terry McIver says, I think I'd rather had rather seen Batgirl in the cinema than Batman versus Superman. And I actually do agree, because they were never going to give us the extended cut. So that means we're going to be moving on to our next one, because Black Adam has wrapped filming. Ladies and gentlemen, can we see this now?
Yeah, so Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. I want to talk about a movie that you wouldn't find this one on HBO Max, let me tell you. This is a blockbuster. The Rock, he can't shut up about it. Look at that incredible suit. He posted a video of him talking on set, kind of talking about his experience and how grateful he is for being able to film this superhero, anti-hero role. talking about this suit, the caption, or one of his quotes on the caption of this picture we're showing right now of him, kind of the back of his head and the back of that suit is, you see a little of the intricate and beautiful textured detail of Black Adam's bodysuit. In parentheses, this is not your typical DC or Marvel padded muscle suit, which I think is just a flex by The Rock, being like, this is skin tight. You're seeing my body, my muscles. He's talked a lot about how, you know, heroes in Marvel and DC have a moral code, like they don't kill this and that, and Black Adam does not have that. I think we're getting in this movie like kind of an origin story of Black Adam that will eventually lead to him maybe clashing with Shazam in present day. I absolutely love when actors are super passionate about their roles and the characters they're portraying, especially in superhero movies like this. Like we just talked about with Hiddleston, and now you know, the Rock is his. You know, he's super excited that he is now Black Adam and what that represents. And I cannot wait for this movie. When does it release? 2020, like 3 or something?
Nah, I don't think so. I think it's next year.
Okay. Well, I cannot wait. Thomas, what are your thoughts? Yeah, it's July 29th, 2022. So yeah, next summer. In like a month or in a year from now.
A year and 5 days, bro. Yeah. In case anyone is wondering, I have been all in on Dwayne The Rock, the Boulder Johnson since I was 8 years old when I turned on WWF back at the time, and my buddy was teaching me about all these wrestlers and like The Rock and Stone Cold and Jeff Hardy's and blah blah blah, because he had cable and I didn't. And then I started watching SmackDown, and when The Rock came out, I was like, oh, that's The Rock. Oh, I see why everybody likes The Rock, and he's supposed to be a bad guy at the time. And I'm like, well, I see why everyone likes The Rock. He is so charismatic, so electrifying. That I have watched almost everything he's in. Like I watched The Tooth Fairy and The Game Plan just because he was in those movies, right? There's a plenty of movies that I only watch because he's in it. I'm only going to see Jungle Cruise because The Rock's in it. I only saw Rampage because The Rock was in it. Right. And throughout his life, throughout his journey in Hollywood, he's done his best to throw every ounce of energy into his characters, which is something he's done from the very beginning in WWF. He was a good guy, threw everything he had into it. And then everyone hated him because he was just generic good guy. Like they didn't give him story, didn't give him character development. Then they made him a bad guy, and he goes, let me tell you why I think my character did this. And that was the promo that put him over at the very top. He shit on everybody. And this isn't a black or white thing. This is a, I got to look out for me thing. And you ain't looking out for me. So I don't care about you. And it was a brilliant move. And he's just continued that for over 20 years, man. Like he has been that guy for over 20 years. And the fact that he has said multiple times that when he was a child, he wanted to be Black Adam over every other character, and the fact that he came into Hollywood and he was like, yeah, I want to be Black Adam. This movie has been in the works since 2008. That is when the rumor started that The Rock was going to be Black Adam, because that's when he went in and made his pitch. 13 years from that day to wrapping filming is a testament to how committed he is. And I think that that is going to, that's the commitment we get from Kevin Feige. That's the commitment we get from everyone at Marvel. I mean, look at Chris Hemsworth. He got bored and said, let's reinvent the character. And now we have the best version of Thor, my version of Thor, the one I've been doing since 2015, which is just, well, who the hell cares? I kind of come from this weird world and I don't really understand what's going on here, but I understand enough about life and the pursuit of happiness that I can make some jokes about, dying and, in the face of adversity. So like the fact that we're getting that same level of commitment in a DC project from the executive producer on the project, which is The Rock. Mm-hmm. I'm here for it. I think this is going to be. You know what? I don't have a hot take alarm that I remember, so I'm gonna sound the spoiler. The news klaxon really cool. Oh, here we go. Hot take. I think Black Adam will be the highest grossing DC film of all time, bar none.
What is it right now?
Aquaman.
Mm.
By about a few $100 million over The Dark Knight.
Or is The Dark Knight Rises? Oh, I don't remember.
Whichever one made $1 billion in the Dark Knight
I think
trilogy.
it's Dark Knight Rises, the last one.
Yeah, Aquaman beat that one.
That's right.
And you don't even really like Aquaman movie that much. Like you're like, yeah, it's okay. It's not great, blah, blah, blah. I think it's a great movie. I'm surprised it's the highest grossing DC film of all time. I don't know. I still don't know why Wonder Woman wasn't. I don't know why people didn't flock to Shazam the way they should have.
And I mean, there is definitely some weird things with the box office. Like Captain Marvel made over $1 billion and things like that.
Right.
That is a hot take. But in the world where Aquaman is the leader, and this is The Rock as Black Adam, as his like Superman like powered being, I think there actually is a chance for that. And I'll be contributing. Trust me. I'll be there day one. July 28th, that Thursday night. You can find me in an IMAX checking out The Rock. Can't wait.
Oh, wow. Look at that. We ended right on time. Flash No Way Home. Will the real Barry Allen please stand up?
Yes, this was pretty cool. I actually wrote up the story for thedirect.com. There was set photos seen of Ezra Miller speaking to a body double, hinting at Barry Allen interacting with an alternate version of himself in The Flash. In theory, this alternate Barry Allen could be from the universe of Michael Keaton's Bruce Wayne. That's kind of like the rumor, possibly, because he's got to interact with some other people besides Bruce in the other universe, you'd assume. Yeah. So it's I think this is a pretty interesting look at the movie and kind of what we're getting out of this. It could be similar to the rumors floating around with Spider-Man No Way Home, hence our title here. And I think this is cool. Like we're in the age of the multiverse in DC and Marvel. So I think it'll be pretty neat. There is a rumor circulating too that's been going around for like a month now that Grant Gustin might make an appearance too. So this might not be the only Barry Allen Flash, and you never know. Maybe Barry in this universe isn't even the Flash yet. We'll see. This movie, to me, I think it's my second most anticipated film for DC right now after the Batman. I'm very excited for it. Love the idea that Keaton's coming back. Supergirl looks awesome. So yeah, the hype just keeps on building. Thomas, what do you think?
I'm now thinking what my most anticipated DC film is because I don't actually know.
There's a lot of good ones. There's honestly like a lot to be excited about.
My top three are easily Black Adam, Flash, and The Batman.
Not Shazam 2?
Again, The Rock, bro. Right? Like,
I mean, that's all you have to say.
The Rock, bro. I've been a Rock fan since I was 8. I've been watching Batman since the animated series in 1992. And I love Multiverse and time. Like Shazam 2, I am super excited for. I'm so pumped for. But I think my hype will build further than when we get there. But like I've been hyped for all these movies since they were announced that they were going to be doing what they were. But yeah, I'm super excited. I love the fact that we're going to get another Ezra Miller version. Because it's important to note that not all variants or doppelgangers. I'm hoping they use doppelgangers in DC, and not use the word variant. But if they use the word variant, then it can lead to a potential crossover. Yeah. I doubt they'll say variant, but for the sake of our show, we'll use variant here. The fact that we're getting another potential Barry Allen variant here is brilliant, and the fact it's an Ezra Miller is so important. And I actually think the exact same thing you think, David. I don't think he's the Flash in this one.
Like, I think that'd be cool.
It's like, wait a minute. So what are you talking about? Wait a minute. You're not powered right now.
Right.
Like that would be so cool. What a little character twist that really isn't that twisty, but it adds a nice little wrinkle, into the story and the complexities of it.
Is it, it's funny thinking about because I feel like we have no idea what the plot of this movie is. Is it that he's like stuck in the Bruce Wayne Batman verse and maybe he needs this Barry Allen to help him get back. Is it literally the Flash No Way Home, right? Where he's got to get back to his universe and maybe this Supergirl's an alternate universe. I don't know. There's no villain pinned to this movie, which I think is very interesting. We're seeing that in a few other places these days, where it's not like a main villain like that we know, like No Way Home. We don't know. Eternals. We don't know.
No Way Home, we know there are
Alfred
multiple
Molina.
villains.
Yeah, you're right.
So.
Well, officially, like they haven't said anything. Like officially, they've said absolutely nothing about the movie. If you think about it, they have said literally nothing about this movie, except there's a name. And that's Zendaya and Jacob Batalon and Tom Holland are in it. Like officially, that's all we have. Like for Far From Home, Jake Gyllenhaal, Mysterio. Like, yeah. Pushing out the marketing like super fast. Everyone knew it. Doctor Strange. There's rumors about who's going to be the villain. No one really knows. Like, it's not like who was the actor that played the villain in Doctor Strange 1? Oh my gosh. Is that
Mads Mikkelsen?
Mads Mikkelsen. Yes. Like we all knew that going in. We already know for Ant-Man that Kang is going to be in. Jonathan Majors. We know Christian Bale's Gore the God Butcher for Thor: Love and Thunder. You know what I'm saying? Like normally we like
keep forgetting that, David.
Yeah, we know, like my point is typically in these movies, you know who the bad guy is, and if it's a big actor, you hear about the casting. In The Flash, no. In Spider-Man, sort of. In Doctor Strange, no. So it's interesting, especially in these multiversal, right? These multiversal stories we're not really getting at, and that the villain maybe isn't really much of a villain, but you're just kind of like you're fixing your own problems, and I don't know. We'll see. I think it'd be sick if Supergirl was the villain.
Oh, that would be sick. If they're using the genuine Flashpoint storyline, I have two versions of villains. One, I hope we get in some way Reverse Flash. I love Reverse Flash so much. I don't know why. I have no effing clue. Probably the fact that he's Kang in a way, and he moles around the timeline and it gains power. And every time you defeat him and kill him, he comes back because that's how time works, baby. See you in a minute. But the second one, and the one I feel like we're going to really be going into, is time itself. Mm-hmm. Like if this movie just opens up and he has no idea where he is, how he got there, what he's doing. Like, imagine that the opening of the Flash film, dude.
Yeah.
I think it opens up the story with infinite possibility. And I said we touch on this a little bit. I wonder if Batgirl is from Keaton's timeline. Like the Batgirl movie and whatever is just Keaton in there. And maybe we get a Batman Beyond, but with Batgirl vibes, right? Like that would be awesome, especially because I don't know if I want to see Michael Keaton in this bat suit anymore, right? Like let him do his thing. Yeah. Plus, we already have him in a suit over there doing Vulture and Birdman. So, like, God, he's so.
I hope if they're gonna do anything with like this new universe or with bringing Keaton back in, doing a Batman Beyond in some form or fashion, I think was like that. That seems like an obvious move.
And if they don't do it, they're wasting all our time.
It's crazy. The Flash doesn't come out until November 4th, 2022. We have a long way before this movie comes out.
Thank God Thor comes out before then.
Definitely.
That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. May 6th, baby, right? I believe so. I think it's May 6th. I think it's exactly a decade or 11 years after. I'll just look at a calendar. Yeah, it's May 6th. Yep. May 6th. Exactly 11 years from the first Thor date. We're not talking Thor. We're supposed to be talking Flash, but I think we're done with Flash. What do you think, David?
I think we're done with Flash, too.
We're going to take a very quick ad break. We're trying to catch some air. Breathing's important. And it's important that as we said earlier, we're live streaming into your homes and phones via our Facebook and Twitter of LightsThunderAction. And the HWWSWebTV channel on YouTube and Twitch. And you should definitely go subscribe to both of those so you can see some of these beautiful faces. Not ours, but these other ones.
I'm GW Pomacher.
I'm Dina Marie.
I'm Sage Ia.
I'm Thomas Carter Rochester.
Hey, I'm David Thompson.
Hi, I'm Kevin.
And I'm Mia.
Hi, I'm Mark.
Hey there, this is Dave Adams.
Hi, I'm Rosemary Rose.
Jerome Conner here.
Hey guys, it's Josh Bauer.
Willow Schuyler.
I'm Cosplay Michael.
It's your boy Country.
I'm Ryan Permison.
And I'd like to ask you guys, please subscribe.
Please subscribe.
Please subscribe.
Please subscribe.
Please subscribe.
Please subscribe.
Please
subscribe.
Subscribe.
Please subscribe to HWWS
WebTV.
Great bunch of people.
And don't forget to smash the bell.
Ring that bell.
Smash that bell.
Hit that bell.
Hit the bell to be notified.
Hit the bell to get notified of new shows
and videos.
You're going to want to do that, so do that soon.
So we can cross that 20,000 mark.
And get us to 100,000 subscribers.
To 1 million and 10 million and 100 million.
On HWWS.
WebTV.
You really like it. I guarantee it.
Thank you.
Welcome, Glasscock Park, to this glorious day.
Today is your lucky day. We got some great stuff. This is Glasscock Park.
Marvelous. Thank you.
Come on, let's go. I don't have all day, people.
Now, it's time.
Tell your friends, huh?
David! This news dropped yesterday, and there's no damn way I'm not using the breaking news klaxon. Ezra Miller and Thrawn Nurodo. Casting rumors have hit us. David, who is it?
Yeah, so this is a big time rumor, big time casting, because a lot of us have been waiting for it, especially since Ahsoka first showed up in The Mandalorian. This is coming to us from thedirect.com. Savannah Sanders writes, according to a rumor from LRM Online, Mina Massoud from Aladdin, the live action version, has been cast as Ezra Bridger, while Lars Mikkelsen is set to play Grand Admiral Thrawn. Important note, Mikkelsen voiced the character in Rebels, which is a very cool way of keeping him around, which I think is really interesting. For an upcoming Disney Plus project is probably Ahsoka. It would be my guess. Both characters were introduced to Star Wars canon, Lucasfilm's animated series Star Wars Rebels, which ran from 2014 through 2018. Lars Mikkelsen, as I just said, provided the voice of Thrawn throughout the character's run in the series. Thomas, you're the big Rebels guy out of the two of us. What are your thoughts on this? And you saw Aladdin, right?
No, David, I did not see Aladdin, but I guess now I have to.
Oh, no way.
Since the Pink Ranger and Ezra Bridger, not Miller, that's what happens when you go to Ezra news stories back to back.
Yeah. The
Pink Ranger and Ezra Bridger are totally in that movie, so they hooked me retroactively. Good job, Disney. I'm super pumped. I think he is a perfect choice to play Ezra. I
really like him. He's really good.
I don't know what his acting chops are like, but most people in Hollywood are very talented. You know, not everyone's the expert level, those A-list Daniel Day-Lewis's, right? But everybody is damn good at their job because we love doing it. So I'm always excited to hear who's being cast. And the way that I've seen him carry himself in the marketing as Aladdin, I think with, as all characters need, you tweak certain things about your own personality and you go right in there. He'll be great as Ezra Bridger, especially an older, more calm, mature Jedi. Ezra Bridger, who has access, David, to the world between worlds. And guess what? We could get some Star Wars time travel. Burp, 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 burp. And flashbacks. Moving on to Thrawn. Lars Mikkelsen. Yes. Yes, Lars. He will be the second person ever to start in Star Wars as a character and then bring them into live action as that same character. You know who the first one was, right? Katie Sackhoff as Bo-Katan. once I was like, oh, Lars Mikkelsen, everyone wants him. I was like, he was the voice actor, right, Brain? And then I like read the article and I was like, he was the voice actor.
Yeah.
I won't lie. After listening to probably 24 hours worth of a Thrawn trilogy, I'm not as big of a fan of the voice that we get in Rebels as I am the one we get from the books, just because I've spent so much more time.
Right.
It's very similar. There's not that much difference. It's just the nuances in the book I noticed and I liked a little bit more.
Yeah.
Like the way it's patiently just spoken out. And then in the show, sometimes I don't know. Anyways, I'm still excited. I love it. And when you bring a character to live action from doing a voice, the voice is never the same because now you're acting with your face. It's supposed to be subtle in your voice, and it's all about being more underspoken, where voice acting it's all about being big. You're putting all of your emotion into it. Like when you watch Toy Story, you can feel what they're saying when he goes, "Look, Buzz!"
Yeah.
Listen. So, and then in acting, it's like, "Look, Buzz. What are we doing, man? You got to look at the thing. It's the thing over here. Use your karate chop action, man." Anyways, I am excited. And David, will they show us? Will they show us the world?
You know, it's funny. Wait, is that actually happening? Wasn't there like a report or something that there's going to be an Aladdin 2, like a live action?
Ooh,
right?
I know a Lion King 2.
Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah,
he could get real busy real quick though. I really loved him as Aladdin, so that's kind of the only only thing I really have to add in this because I think that's cool. I haven't watched Rebels. This makes you want to like know what's going on. I guess. I mean, I know like spoilers about it, and I know a lot of spoilers about Rebels, but like the fact that they're coming to live action isn't as big of a deal to me, obviously, because I haven't seen Rebels. But yeah, I think the casting, bringing the voice actor in, sounds cool. Seems like he's a good actor.
Mm-hmm.
Bring our live action Aladdin, which I loved him as Aladdin. Honestly, I think he's a really really cool guy, and I think could play what I imagine as an Ezra Bridger live action really well, similar to what Rosario Dawson is doing as Ahsoka. So pretty cool, yeah. And we got a bunch more Star Wars stuff to get to here.
Yeah, we do, because ladies and gentlemen, the Kenobi plot and casting updates have been revealed, and oh my god.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
This is Kenobi right now is my number one most anticipated
Had to get one.
Yeah, I do. It's my number one most anticipated Star Wars project, I guess, right now. Yeah, it definitely is. I'd say, there's Acolyte and there's Mandalorian Season 3, which we'll get to in a second. But in a report from Cinelinx, which is kind of like just set Twitter ablaze for a moment there, kind of like giving us updates and kind of like rumors and whispers of like what's really going to be happening in this series. Leia is pretty much, Leia is pretty much the impetus for the whole show and what gets Obi-Wan, Ben, into another adventure, which is really cool that Leia could have such a pivotal role, like kind of this child Leia. From Bird Box, this actor Vivian Lyra Blair, who's like just like the little girl with Sandra Bullock in Bird Box. Did you see that movie, Thomas?
Bird Box. I did not. I had a blindfold on the entire time.
But yeah, I mean, I honestly don't even remember her like performance, but sure. I mean, she's in a big Netflix movie like that. I'm sure she's great. Being a little Leia, we'll get a little Luke. We'll see Han from Fast and Furious, Sung Kong, who is saying that apparently they're saying he's going to play the Inquisitor 5th brother, who is first appeared in Rebels. I think that's really cool that he could be an Inquisitor. And just the fact that we're getting Inquisitors live action in Obi-Wan is something that's really drawing me into this series. Because I know them mostly from Vader comics and Fallen Order.
Yes. And see, what I love about them in the Vader comics and in Fallen Order is you learn so much more backstory.
Yeah.
That in context with what you learn in Rebels is like, oh, it's almost like a Sith Brotherhood Junior, which is like, it's the best way to put it. And it is like, ooh, I wonder what that would look like in live action. and now we're getting it. It's insane, David.
Right. Thomas, what do you think of all this? We got a young Leia. More details on Obi-Wan here. That Leia is going to be like kind of a vocal point and kind of the reason why Ben could be hopping back into action.
Yes. So we also have a second part of this story, David. It's down underneath. I forgot to move it back up because we did combine the Kenobi bits.
Yeah. Sorry.
But in terms of the Leia of it all, I thought we were going to get like a young Luke and it was going to be like, oh, I got to do something on Tatooine. And it's instead, and here's what I really hope. I hope it's just Leia doing Leia things and getting herself into big trouble because that's who she is, right? She's going to go fight the good fight just like Where's Padme? Just like Padme. And this actually got me so much more hype, knowing that it's all about young Leia. And we know he's been watching over Luke this entire time, right? And it's like, oh, okay, so Luke's the chosen one, and Obi-Wan has this connection with him. And it'll make that look, David, that look in, I'm about to cry, A New Hope, right before he goes down and he looks over, and for the first time he sees Luke and Leia together since they were born. And now he's seen her grown up and all this good stuff. It's going to add to the nuance of Alec McGuinness's acting so much more, and just the emotions. But the fact that it's not just going to be set on Tatooine is probably the most important thing I got out of this. Other than the Leia of it all.
Yeah, I feel like it'll jump around actually a good bit. Who knows where we're going to meet up with Obi-Wan, honestly. And the Inquisitors, great. And do we get an actual rematch of Vader and Kenobi? And like,
that's what
Kennedy said.
Hey, listen, but can we trust that?
I think we can. I think we can. She said we're gonna have like this big rematch. That to me, it's happening.
I wonder what that line, what's gonna happen. That's gonna give that line. When we last met, I was but the learner. Now I am the master.
Well, that's it, right?
Master of evil, Darth. Like, what does that line mean now?
Exactly. So you figure Obi-Wan wins or something happens. We want to throw in the R2-D2 of it all, right? Yeah. So also another report sharing that R2-D2 and C-3PO will make an appearance in Obi-Wan Kenobi. They always pop up. This isn't a surprise. Good old R2. C-3PO, they always pop up in like every little Star Wars project and movie. I love seeing them. There's such like a through line to like all of the Skywalker saga and just all of Star Wars. Our two favorite droids, R2-D2 and C-3PO, popping up hopefully in Kenobi. You have any more thoughts on that?
That is all. Mando season 3 is apparently going to be starting production sooner rather than later. Is it filming now? When can we expect a release? David, give us the news.
Yes, this comes from the direct.com. Andrew Gilman writes, American cinematographer has reported that The Mandalorian season 3 has officially started production. In a piece discussing ILM's development of The Volume, which we all know and love, Season 3 was mentioned alongside the Book of Boba Fett and Obi-Wan Kenobi as Lucasfilm series making use of the technology in Los Angeles. So basically, they've been working on Boba Fett, they've been working on Kenobi, and now Mando Season 3 is finally getting some love, and they're starting production on that season. Expect the release? Definitely 2022. I would expect springtime. I mean, I don't know at this point, actually. It's kind of like... This is kind of snuck up on me because it's been fall, winter the last 2 years. And now we're going to get Book of Boba. And when's Kenobi supposed to come out? Is Mando going to be after Kenobi?
Mando's going to be after Kenobi. I believe Kenobi is spring of next year.
Oh, I cannot wait.
But here's something that's important, David. They can film every single scene with Din Djarin's helmet on without Pedro Pascal. It's important to note that he is currently filming an exclusive. He has a first book deal, if I'm not mistaken, is how it's described as, with HBO. for the Last of Us series.
Oh, right. Yeah.
So
he is filming that right now.
that is his priority whenever it, happens. So the fact that Disney is like, yeah, go do that, man. Like, that's fine. Go make that, go tell that great story, because they already know what they're doing. And again, any stuff with his helmet on, which he's not going to take the helmet off that much. You got to think, right? He doesn't want everyone to know what he looks like, because if he becomes the Mandalore, which hot take, I think it's going to happen. I'm here to, I love how that's already become a bit this week. And we just improv that earlier, man. Like, anyways, I think that's what's going to happen. He's going to become the Mandalore, and he's going to want to keep his helmet on pretty much at all times as best he can. And to protect everyone, do the same, because then you can mix in and out of the costume and et cetera, et cetera. I think we could get it in 2022. We might be able to get it, we got Book of Boba coming out this December.
Please.
Like this December, and then like
Andor's also
November.
Andor is also,
yeah.
Well, like I think it might even be done filming at this point.
No, yeah,
So,
I doth believe it is done filming.
We've got a lot of projects coming out for Disney Plus and Star Wars.
We do, including the thing that everyone wanted the most and was very sad we didn't get, a Disney Gallery Luke special. Finally.
Yes, this is pretty cool. Star Wars officially announced that a special Disney Gallery episode for Mandalorian Season 2, the upcoming installment, will mainly focus on the making of Season 2 finale episode that featured the return of Mark Hamill's Luke Skywalker. And honestly, nothing much here. I will definitely be watching this gallery. It's so cool. I mean, obviously, the finale of Mando Season 2 was just like one of those incredible Star Wars moments. I think we can all agree with, especially that it was Hamill. And we've heard him talk about like the secrecy of it and how cool it was to be back as the character. Because I think after Rise of Skywalker, I think he thought he was done. And it's cool that they were able to use the de-aging. And, he's back. And I'm truly cannot wait to watch this one and see the return of Luke Skywalker. Mark Hamill, the behind the scenes of it all. I'm really excited. Thomas, any thoughts on this?
No, I really wanted to post this, the actual OG photo that I used for the graphic, because it is just so beautiful. While I talk really swiftly, it's important to note that you can tell that's not Mark Hamill in there. That's that was from our last news segment. That's not Mark Hamill. That's the Jedi double, if
body
you will.
double,
yeah, body double. And it's crazy that it does look like Mark Hamill's chin. Like, that's the thing that I noticed the most. So I cannot wait to meet this actor and for this actor's face to be out there in the world, because everything he did was so good that he deserves his own action film. Like, I'll be that guy. And maybe if he looks enough like like Mark Hamill, just make that guy Luke Skywalker if his acting chops are there. But we both agree it should be Sebastian Stan.
Yeah, that would be cool. I think Sebastian Stan's filming a movie right now. Wouldn't that be interesting if they somehow snuck him into Mando Season 3 or something? Because I want to see the continuation back, like kind of talking about Mando Season 3. It's like, I want to see what's going on with Grogu. Like, we need a continuation of that. And we got a lot of story to tell, especially on Disney Plus of Star Wars. I think we will get back to it, but yeah, very excited.
Before we move on really quick, it's also, they're building the Mandoverse, they've said, and they took off Rangers of the New Republic because of the Cara Dune of it all. Excuse me. And then they also, they're like, oh yeah, Ahsoka and Mando Season 3 and another show, Book of Boba, they're all going to like connect into this event. So do you think more likely to get Luke and Grogu in Mando Season 3 or Ahsoka?
Probably Ahsoka, because we know for sure she's, that she has her own series coming out, and I could see where they keep wanting to connect those dots. And I think also I could see where they would keep wanting to connect these projects in like a way that almost similar to like those old Netflix Marvel shows. where they each like they kind of pop up in the other one, and then they all kind of connect in some way, and hopefully make a team up movie that's better than the Defenders or series.
Well, you know the rule of the 3 Fs from our boys over at the Direct Pod, Feige, Favreau, Filoni.
Yeah.
They got 2 of the 3, baby. Oh my God, David, what if they got all 3 for the epic conclusion? What if that's his movie? Yeah! Because Michael Waldron's going to be doing that movie, right? And if Ahsoka and having Ezra come in is a bridge to that, and the world between worlds, aka the start of the Star Wars multiverse that's from Rebels, David, for the love of God, just watch Rebels. Seasons 3 and 4. Skip the first 2, jump right into the Thrawn of it all, and trust me, it is very, very good because they start the Rebel Alliance in season 3. Like, no one saw that coming, and it's on an episode that you'll never guess it because it's the most mundane episode title, and then it turns out to be the start of the Rebellion Alliance.
Right.
The Rebel Alliance. So that's my final push for Star Wars Rebels. Didn't mean to go there. There's a question from the comments. There's 2 from the comments. What is this one? I wonder how many hotkey sounds Thomas will get from the upcoming Star Wars show. Probably all of them. And then he asked, do you think we'll get a Kenobi episode with only a quick cameo of Obi-Wan? Much like Bad Batch. Oh, David, because you don't watch Bad Batch, there's been 2 episodes where the Bad Batch are barely in it. 3 weeks ago, or maybe it's 2 weeks ago, we were talking in the Reckless Rebellion chat that shout out Jack Pews and Kleino the Dino, that 3 minutes exactly from 1307 to 1608, it was 301. The Bad Batch are in that episode. 3 minutes. The entire time, it's the origin story of Harrison Dula, a character from Rebels that we all got to know and love. And it's like, this show is so good that your main characters don't even have to be in it.
Right.
And it's like, oh yeah. And then the next episode, it's all of them in it. And then it turns out to be just a part 1 and part 2 of a brilliant story. I think we could get an entire episode surrounding Leia in the way that we got that entire weird episode in season 2 of Stranger Things of 11 over in Chi-Town, or in Shirak, doing Shirak things with her powers. I think we could get something like that. And then, Obi-Wan comes in at the end. David, what do you think?
I could see where it could work actually in the story, with all these different characters coming back and like Leia and Anakin and everything. But I think it won't happen simply because, Bad Batch is a much longer show, a lot more episodes. Obi-Wan's going to be a very limited series where I don't think they're going to have an episode where, maybe he's in only half of the episode, but I think it is called Obi-Wan Kenobi, and it's going to be like 6 episodes. He's going to be the primary player in every one. And I could say maybe like the smallest he could be in an episode is like half of it. You know what I mean? Where I think he's really like, this is his series. It's his story. It's his journey. There's a cast of characters around him, but I think especially because it's so limited, such a small series, similar to Loki, where we're following him the whole way. It'll be, I think, of that same vein.
I like it. I like your idea too, man. Both of our shows are good. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to take one more final brief ad break, and we'll be right back after the jump. Please follow our friends here that you're about to see.
We are a touring acoustic duo crashing kitchens around the country. We go from house to house every Friday night, and we create music, we create food, a good time. We're just really kind of like trying to develop it and build a community group that people believe in, then they'll help us. So we played from our rehearsal room, we played from the bathroom, thankfully that didn't catch on.
I probably played guitar in my room, not for anyone, in front of anyone, nobody heard, for probably about 10 years.
And then one Friday night, we played from the kitchen. It's the main place people want to be. It's where the food is, it's where the drink is, it's where the best lighting is. You can go to any party and I guarantee you, the kitchen is going to be popping.
Our ultimate goal, I think, would be to crash kitchens every Friday all around the world.
Reels and Heels is a podcast that discusses movies, television, wrestling, and more. With a rotating guest list of friends and filmmakers alike, Reels and Heels salutes the creative arts of all kinds. Join Brian Winzeloff and Nicole Jobin live every Saturday at 2:15 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for Reels and Heels. Ladies and gentlemen, we are back, and I gotta do it, David. Kingpin and Hawkeye? David, please tell me, is this really happening? Is this really happening? Is this real?
I don't have that answer, but I think it might be. And I think it actually is because Vincent
D'Onofrio.
D'Onofrio. Yes, you saved me. Vincent D'Onofrio. Here, I'll lay it all out. So this is coming from Sam Hargrave, thedirect.com. Let me read this bit of his article. According to a post via the moderator team on the Marvel Studios Spoilers Reddit page, Vincent D'Onofrio will reprise his role in Daredevil as Kingpin. From his Daredevil role as Kingpin in the upcoming Hawkeye series. Awesome. While the source stated that Charlie Cox's Daredevil was originally supposed to return in Hawkeye as well, scheduling conflicts reportedly prevented his appearance. Additionally, the report indicated that Hawkeye is set to premiere around the same time Spider-Man No Way Home hits theaters due to links between the two. Awesome. Vincent D'Onofrio also liked a tweet of one of like the outlets reporting it, saying that he is going to be in Hawkeye, which isn't a confirmation, but it definitely points to this actually being real. Now listen, I love Daredevil, the Netflix series. I love Charlie Cox as the character. I think seasons 1 and seasons 3 are awesome. Season 2, it was good. It was okay. It's up and down. I think Electro wasn't done very well. But anyway, Vincent D'Onofrio as Wilson Fisk is incredible. And if you're also bringing in Charlie Cox, who's a majorly rumored to be in Spider-Man No Way Home, and this indicates that, you know, he will be in that movie as well and could have been in Hawkeye, but that didn't work out. Oh my gosh. The idea that, you know, Hawkeye begins at the end of November, early December, every Wednesday. And then imagine like it's episode 3, 4 on Wednesday, we get Hawkeye. And on Thursday, Friday, you know, premiere and then the opening day, we get Spider-Man No Way Home. And they connect somehow beyond all the other 100,000 connections this movie could make. Oh, it's so awesome. I think kind of the idea here, it seems like they're going for, that's kind of what everyone's kind of discussing and speculating, is that these may not be actually the exact characters from Netflix with the same background, but they'll be softly rebooted into the fold of the greater MCU. I know someone at the Direct keeps saying like they don't want to be an advertisement for Netflix, like so they almost don't want it to connect that greatly. But I think the idea that these characters, specifically Daredevil and Wilson Fisk, were cast so well, like these two are so great as these characters that they get to continue and are passionate too. Like we talked about earlier with The Rock being passionate about Black Adam. These two are very passionate about these characters. I love the idea of bringing them into the MCU, and especially Hawkeye. What am I talking about? Stock rising. Yelena and possibly Echo, and now Kingpin. And on top of everything, you know, we got Kate Bishop, Haley Steinfeld, and Clint with all the Ronin stuff. Wow, am I excited for this series now? If this is true, and I think, honestly, I believe it is. The idea that someday, you know, right, in like a Spider-Man 4 or whatever they do, we get Spider-Man and Kingpin. Like, yes, such a great like hero villain dynamic in the comics and in the animation stuff. I think this is absolutely phenomenal. I loved this series. I was sad when it was canceled, but the idea that now they could be brought into the greater MCU fold in TV, Disney Plus, and possibly in the movies. Let's go. This is awesome. I'm glad they aren't recasting, it seems like, for these characters they have the rights to, but kind of like rebooting a little bit. Thomas, where's your hype at? What are your thoughts on all of this?
Okay. Everybody knows that I have recently had a very hot take on Daredevil season 2. And it was so bad that I didn't even watch season 3, right? Because I knew it was all getting canceled. I knew what Netflix was doing, and I was way behind. This news means I will now be going back to watch Daredevil seasons 1 through 3. I haven't seen 3, so I'm going to start back at 1, and I'm going to watch it all the way through, knowing that this story is going to end, and no matter what, I get to see these two actors in the MCU. Hopefully, at some point. Definitely, it sounds like Vincent D'Onofrio, which if I had to choose one from that series and throw the other one out, I choose Vincent D'Onofrio. Sorry, Charlie Cox. You're great, but there's perfect casting, right? And when it comes to Kingpin, Michael Clark Duncan, back in the 2003 Ben Affleck Daredevil movie, was perfect for that movie. Vincent D'Onofrio, as the way he portrays Kingpin, is perfect for that role, and he's so passionate about it. Like we were talking about it with The Rock. It makes me so happy because Hawkeye is a street level character, right? He's a SHIELD agent, but he's not an agent anymore. He's just a guy. The city is flying. We're fighting an army of robots, and I have a bow and arrow. None of it makes sense.
Yes,
exactly. And so the fact that could Hawkeye be the first Marvel series that's just like, hey, this isn't what you were expecting. Like, I got a feeling that this could be a spy thriller like Black Widow, or it could be this very deep character study that at the same time takes everything you didn't expect and turns it dark, right? Or everything you expect and then makes it darker than you expect, like the Daredevil series was doing. Because, again, he murdered a lot of people. Like, and if we've learned anything, Civil War, repercussions are real. If we've learned anything from Phase 4, it's that the repercussions of your actions as a hero now have absolute consequence. Life or death. Spider-Man's on the run. Hawkeye's on the run. Holy shit. David, do they help each other? Is that the tie-in?
And what's interesting, too, is they're actually on set photos. You could see they were both set during Christmas, winter time. So, like...
And in New York. Oh, shit.
And in New York.
Oh, shit.
Correct.
Oh, shit. Dude. Are we about to get Peter Parker and Kate Bishop meeting? Think about that energy. Haley Steinfeld, who played Gwen Stacy. I love the fact that her nickname, like she names herself Gwanda in that movie so much that that's what I think of every time. Haley Steinfeld is about to potentially meet Tom Holland, Peter Parker / Spider-Man. Dude, what? Oh, brain hurts. David, I am so hyped. My hype level is now at 100, and this is my most hyped show remaining in this year. Yeah, it just took over What If, because in terms of the what if of it all, we're about to dive into it, ladies and gentlemen. Don't worry, there's some rumors coming up, but in terms of What If, I kind of know what I'm getting in a way. Like, definitely, it's all multiversal, so I'm gonna love it. Right? It's the same way I feel about Shang-Chi and Eternals. I know what I'm getting in a way. I know the style, and I'm gonna love it. Whereas we don't know what we're getting with Spider-Man No Way Home, and now we don't know what we're getting with Hawkeye. So that's it. But you know what? We really aren't sure what we're going to be getting. It's the future of Premier Access with Disney Plus, because the National Association of Theater Owners, not to be confused with the other NATO, is really pissed off about the Black Widow release format. And David, they have cause.
They definitely do have cause. And this is very interesting, especially in light of that, I think, opening weekend where they made $80 million at the box office domestically seem great. You know, they apparently brought in 20 more million through Premier Access in the States and in Canada. Awesome. It's fallen off a cliff. No pun intended. Black Widow. Like this. I mean, this. It's bad, and I think they have every right to say all this. So this is coming to us from Deadline. I care a lot about this sort of thing, and I think it's very interesting for kind of like the direction of movies heading forward that I want to talk about. So this is reading off this Deadline article. In a press release dropped Sunday afternoon following our analysis of what went sideways with the Marvel Cinematic Universe title, talking about Black Widow, NATO, which, as Thomas said, is the National Association of Theater Owners, asks how can a well-reviewed, well-received, highly anticipated Marvel title underperform leading to a first weekend Friday to Saturday collapse of 41% and a 65% drop in weekend 2. The organization comes to the same conclusions as we did in regards to Black Widow getting their legs picked off: piracy and Disney Plus at-home cannibalization that impacts not just the box office, but the pick's subsequent home window release. Moving on a little bit here, the Disney theatrical day-and-date Disney Plus model ignores, in quotes, ignores the Premier Access revenue is not newfound money, but was pulled forward from a more traditional PVOD window, which is no longer an option, reports NATO. Another quote, despite assertions that this pandemic era improvised release strategy was success for Disney and the simultaneous release model, it demonstrates that an exclusive theatrical release means more revenue for all stakeholders in every cycle of the movie's life, NATO emphasizes. Now, this is the thing. As consumers, we should want every movie to be like it is right now for Warner Brothers, right?
Yes.
You go to the theater, or you can pay monthly for a subscription service and show up and go home and watch it at home. As consumers, it's great, right? It's awesome. You can go out to the theater if you want. You have choice. This, to me, and obviously this organization, this NATO, they're trying to keep the theaters alive. But they're right. As a business, you're seeing these box office numbers plummet after that opening weekend of excitement. And the fact that, exactly, they're losing... There's a couple things they bring up that I really want to touch on. Piracy. You know, Black Widow has not opened yet in China, right?
Mm-hmm.
And because of the Disney Plus release, you can find pirated versions of Black Widow, 1080p, crystal clear, perfect. These aren't webcams in theaters, right? Like, and people are nervous
The good old days.
Yeah. And people are nervous that when it does eventually open in the Chinese box office, it won't do that well because people will have already seen it. Here's another thing. You buy Disney Plus Premier Access for $30 and you let your friends watch it and your mom and your dad and your brother and the dog and whatever. Like it goes around, right? Not everyone, especially the dog. Not everyone is buying the Premier Access. You buy one and then you spread it to your friends, the password sharing. Like, oh yeah, I have it. Here you go. Here's that. Or like you split it or whatever. Like the fact of the matter is this is not sustainable. It removes the additional income from boom, we're in theaters. You're making all that money. And then you get the option to months later buy the movie. You buy the Blu-ray. You buy it on PVOD. You buy it on Amazon. You buy it on Apple. You buy it on Vudu. Then it goes on to a streaming service, and then you pay money for that streaming service, and then you can watch it there, and then it's on cable. That is the system that still in this day and age makes the most sense to make money, because we're seeing where not only is the box office dropping a lot for Black Widow, and now we're seeing with Space Jam 2, but they're losing out on that PVOD money, because now that I paid $30 up front, and we paid more than probably the average person. We bought the Disney Plus. We went out to the theater and saw it. we paid for that Disney Plus Premier Access, and now we just have it. They're not talking about me because I'm still going to go out and buy the Blu-ray because I collect all the Blu-rays and I want to have them all just to look at them. But in theory, I shouldn't do that because it's just on Disney Plus now. Why would I spend any more money on the film because it's on Disney Plus? I think they make a very strong point, and it makes me happy because despite as a consumer the enjoyment I got of seeing Black Widow and the next morning pulling it up on my laptop and being able to watch it frame for frame, it's not sustainable business wise. And I think this proves it's not really the future yet. I think the model that has been in place, even with a shorter theater release date, because that's what we're seeing now, like with Shang-Chi and Free Guy and all these other things, 45 days is going to be the theatrical exclusive release date. Still, give us that cycle of theater, then you can buy it, then you stream it, right? Like that still makes the most money business-wise, and I think this makes a strong point for movies staying in the theaters and not doing this day and date stuff after 2021. We had to get through this whole Warner Brothers thing, and after Jungle Cruise, that's probably the last Premier Access we'll get. And I think you'll see companies such as Warner Brothers and Disney. It'll be a theater release, or it'll be a Disney Plus release, or an HBO Max release like Batgirl is, like Luca was. It won't be this here or there, right? It'll be a, Knives Out, Netflix original, right? Like that is a streaming movie. Luca became a streaming movie. Batgirl's going to be a streaming movie. Black Adam is a theater movie. Thor is a theater movie. And so on and so forth. Thomas, I'm rambling. I'm going on. I care too much about this stupid crap. What do you think?
What was the drop for Space Jam?
77% on Friday.
That's just on Friday.
Yeah.
I didn't even go. Yeah, I didn't go see it in theaters. Did you?
Me neither. No.
There you go. A movie that would have been exquisitely fun in theaters.
Yep.
I'll watch it at home.
Yep.
So it's true. It's very unsustainable, and it's just this is my favorite quote. Despite assertions that this pandemic era improvised release strategy was a success for Disney and the simultaneous release model, it demonstrates that an exclusive theatrical release means more revenue for all stakeholders in every cycle of the movie's life. Important. They're not saying, oh, it's just helping theaters. More revenue for all stakeholders in every cycle of the movie's life. And when it comes to Disney, they haven't done it in a while, and they still only do it here or there to certain classics. They can vault stuff. They can just be like, hey, we're taking it all away. If you have it, you have it. If you don't, you don't. So that way they can make more money by being we got a little bit more goody here to give you. Lucasfilm, George Lucas. It's the Lucas. I mean, really, Lucas took from the Disney model, if I'm not mistaken, back from the 80s and 90s. But back from their 30s and 40s originals that they had. But it's important to note that the filmmaking industry, you have to worry at all times about monopolies. And I don't know if we have it. We did have it, maybe. There was a Lionsgate merger potentially happening, right? Being bought out, I think we saw on Twitter, which is similar to this. The question is, okay, who's going to buy that? And then there's, now there's 6 major studios or something. We got Disney, Warner Brothers,
Universal,
Sony, Universal, Apple, Netflix, Amazon. So 7, right? And Lionsgate was on its own, right? They were partnering with different other studios to help fund their shit, but now they're
Paramount used to be one.
Paramount is another one, so that's 8, right? At the end of the day, if only 8 people control all of the media and all of your work opportunities and all of the money, they can really do whatever they want. And if they're not giving it back to the theaters, that's where people get really pissed off. And that's what NATO is trying to stop. And I am here for it. Down with monopolies and bring back monocles. No relation whatsoever to the story. Just think they're cool. Moving on, Multiverse is scary. How scary is the Multiverse of Madness, or Mom in this case?
Yeah, so Elizabeth Olsen, I don't know, I forget who she was talking to, sorry. But she had these quotes. She was talking about returning to the character after WandaVision. Said it was really hard, kind of returning to Scarlet Witch after WandaVision back into like an actual Marvel big budget movie. Sam Raimi is lovely, and I got to learn a lot from him. It was odd going from WandaVision and bring this character to a different film that felt more based in the Marvel films. Exactly. Like WandaVision was so unique compared to this.
Yes.
I felt like I was putting on old shoes. It's a very scary movie. It's old Sam Raimi. They're trying to create the scariest Marvel movie. So there's that. She kind of says, you know, kind of laughing.
At the end, realizing what she said.
Yeah. I mean, and I think that's kind of what everyone's been saying about this. There really hasn't been any scary like Marvel movies, and I will not get scared over this. This is Marvel. This is supposed to be a huge film. They're not going to make this that scary. Like, this is not going to be some sort of horror movie. There's going to be some scary elements to it, and I'm sure you can figure out how and why with Doctor Strange and of it all, and who knows. But, you know, this does not scare me off. I think even Scarlet Witch is going to be part of that scariness. I think that'd be really cool, kind of to see her powers develop, and maybe this could, you know, maybe this is part of her being an antagonist in this film. We'll see. It honestly makes me excited because I think going off into these different genres, like we're seeing on WandaVision and others, like branching out, trying new things in the MCU is a good thing. And if this movie has, you know, a jump scare or two, I'm cool with that. Like, I think it's the fact that it like scary. What does that mean? I think it could just be freaky and you know, just like have those like those tense moments that maybe you get more when you're seeing like a horror movie or something like that than like a normal Marvel film. But at the end of the day, it's an MCU movie. This is trying to go for $1 billion. Like, I don't think this is going to be categorized as horror, and if it is, I think it'll be fairly loosely so. What do you think, Thomas?
Well, there's a huge movement right now in PG-13 horrors. If I'm not mistaken, The Invisible Man, Blumhouse, I think, if I'm not mistaken, that's a PG-13 movie. I might be super effing wrong about that now that I think about it. I don't watch horror movies, but you can do PG-13 horror movies. It's been done. And when she says it's old Sam Raimi, David, that means you need to go back and watch like Evil Dead 1, 2, and maybe the third one, if there's a third one, I don't remember. Terry, help me out in the comments, because that is what's, you know, if you go watch Evil Dead, I didn't know that. Bark! I didn't know the story. Bark again. I didn't know that. I didn't know the story of how they made that movie. It's just a few friends who literally went to a bunch of different businesses and were like, hey, do you want to invest in a movie? And they raised money that way. Basically, they crowdfunded it in their own way, filmed the movie, and it became an absolute hit. It's literally like the horror. It's like the, you know, small horror movie becomes big box office success.
Quiet Place 2 is PG-13.
Exactly. Yeah. See, so I think that it'll have those kind of elements, and even Evil Dead. Up. Am I back?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
It was near you.
It was me. It's telling me I have low internet right now. Yeah, that's okay. The Evil Dead, you know, has its own cheeky chagrin kind of vibe to it. And apparently third Evil Dead was Army of Darkness. They made it a horror comedy. Excellent stuff. So it kind of bridges, and I've heard that it's just cheesy and over the top with Bruce Campbell. So that makes me very excited. It gives me kind of an idea, a little bit more of what to expect, especially in terms of tone, which I love knowing the tone of a film going in, because then I can understand the story much easier. If I go into a movie not knowing jack shit, I'm just along for the ride, and I'm going to absolutely love it. And then when I go back and rewatch it, I might love it more or hate it less, or hate it more.
You know, it's funny. like some of the parts of the Raimi movies, especially like the Spider-Man movies, like especially the first one, used to freak me out with the Goblin. Like that final, like the part where like he dies, or like there's some genuinely scary movies or scary parts of that movie. Like when I was a kid, like freaked me out. And you can see, like, I think it'll be on that level, honestly. Like, because even I think those Raimi movies, especially, I mean, honestly, all of them, they have more like scary elements to them than like the normal MCU. Like the MCU in general is very not scary, like at all, like that. That's not like their goal. Even if it's more serious and a little darker, they normally don't play with your heart rate like that as much.
And really quick before we move on, Terry McIver says Evil Dead 1 was a low budget scare fest. Evil Dead 2 was essentially Evil Dead 1 with a bigger budget. Evil Dead 3 was so cheesy. It was awesome. So I know nothing apparently. And then he said, if you watch Drag Me to Hell, you may get a good indication of where we're going with the horror elements of Doctor Strange. Terry, I don't think I will. Captain Carter is in Mom. Is Thomas's ideas coming true, David?
Yeah, I don't know. This is very interesting. So this actually comes from the Diz Insider, their podcast. They were talking about kind of their Rumor of the Week segment on the Diz Insider show, a podcast. And Greg Cornell, or sorry, not Greg, Derek Cornell, who I know, talked about how Haley Atwell's Captain Carter, who's going to be in What If, from an alternate version of Peggy Carter, who actually becomes like basically Captain America, but like kind of Captain Britain, will make an appearance in 2022's Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness, which, this is a complete rumor, obviously, but would be pretty crazy. And who knows, like this movie could feature just like really quick glimpse cameos from What If that I think could be really, really cool. Thomas, you saw this. What do you think?
I don't think she's going to be the only one from What If that shows up. Killmonger. Apparently he's in Wakanda forever. So how did they raise him from the dead, or did he come from another universe where he is the Black Panther? I mean, it's all open. Who knows? Right? Like maybe they could have been best friends growing up and his, I don't know. Anyways, moving on. Cause I'm excited about that. And we have, this is next story is big. Kate Herron explains the multiverse.
Yeah.
Will it make more sense after?
Yeah. I thought that this was really, really good, interesting quotes from Kate Herron, the director of Loki, kind of explaining like what happens at the end there and what the multiverse is and the sacred timeline of it all. So she explains, so there's branches, right? Which is like the alternate reality, alternative reality. But then something you'll see, it's very subtle, but in the very last shot where you see the multiverse, there's like basically other big physical timeline branches. So it's almost like these different separate trees that are now connecting. It's almost like a bridge. If you imagine the branch, it is another reality. But if the branch extends beyond a certain point, it will then connect to other physical timelines. That last shot we did, there are other like thicker branches that are meant to be our timeline. And there are other timelines that the branches are the connectors, basically. So essentially, she's saying that, these branches in our sacred timeline in Loki, that's not necessarily the whole multiverse. And that it's not just our one timeline expanding. It's this timeline is branching out and then connects to the other timelines out there. And that's where we get these other characters and things like that. So very interesting. I think in watching Loki, you don't get that. I don't think you understand that completely. You understand that, honestly, all you need to know is like, boom, the multiverse has basically exploded and there's like endless like realities and timelines. That's like pretty much all you need to know. But I liked her kind of illustrating it for us, what they tried to get at there and how these timelines connect and what these branches are really doing as like they connect from timeline to timeline. So what were your thoughts on these comments from her?
It makes complete sense to me because as He Who Remains explained, they found at the same time that there were multiple realities layered on top of each other. It's the parallel reality theory, right? And Tony Stark did the exact same thing. He found that out. But if I'm not mistaken, now there's a whole Reddit situation and I can't find the photo, but it basically broke down the quantum physics of it all, and the fact that he saw that there were multiple realities, so he just paired them on top of each other and used the quantum realm to jump between them at a certain point in that reality.
Mm-hmm.
So potentially, the only reason that the realities are on top of each other is because of Tony Stark. But no matter what, they're on top of each other. So these little butterfly effects that are happening, which could all be answered within the end of this year. Like, one could be Miss Marvel, one could be Hawkeye, one could be Spider-Man, one could be Eternals, one could be Shang-Chi. Every single one of those branches that we saw extending out could be just this year. But who knows? I'm very excited to see what happens. So excited. But our last story here, Dave, do we still want to watch the video?
I mean, we don't have to watch all of it. We can just kind of talk about it. Yeah.
All right. Let me do one thing real quick.
Kind of just like the lead up with this, super cool, talking about, especially like in light of, you know, Kingpin coming into the MCU and kind of the multiverse, like Deadpool, Ryan Reynolds will be joining the MCU for a Deadpool 3 at some point. We don't know when, but in a really, really smart bit of advertisement for his new movie, Free Guy, we get this fun little Korg and Deadpool react to the Free Guy trailer where Korg, an MCU character, interacts with Deadpool, which is his first time talking to someone in the MCU. There's even a point where he asks, like, oh, like, any advice on joining like the Marvel Cinematic Universe and all this stuff. So very cool. I can't wait to see She-Hulk break the fourth wall. I can't wait to see Deadpool break the fourth wall, especially. Like, it's going to be so funny hearing him explain how he got from one universe to the other and everything going on. And by the time Deadpool 3 is coming out, there could be a lot more things with the multiverse happening, and just it's really fun. I'm excited that, similar to Vincent D'Onofrio and Charlie Cox, like, we're getting Ryan Reynolds continuing this character who cares so much about it and loves it. So this was a fun little video, and I enjoy the fact that just the tease of him joining the MCU, I suppose.
Yeah. I think because of Ryan Reynolds and his maximum marketing, first off, that little cutaway insert in there where he reviews the 101 Dalmatians, Cruella, brilliant.
Another Disney plug, yeah,
another Disney plug, right? But also, it's just it's a brilliant way that we can just get a lot more Deadpool and market all the Disney films, because who better to market films to your audience than a guy who literally does it as a character you own?
And what's funny too is that Taika Waititi voices Korg and is in Free Guy, so it's just very meta. I don't know. This honestly is ingenious, and everyone loves Deadpool. Also, you know, talking about quickly, just kind of about Deadpool in the MCU. You know, they bleep him in this, and that could be the future of the character, possibly. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if in theaters, PG-13, they literally bleep him, and then maybe on Blu-ray you could get the uncut, like the uncut version.
Ooh.
Like, that would be really cool.
That would be really cool. And I mean, that's the idea that I've had for a long time, that to make Deadpool PG-13, you just bleep him, and then he gets mad because he knows he's being bleeped. And then he'll look at everybody and be like, all right, well, because it's PG-13, I'm allowed one F-bomb.
Yeah, right.
Because that's the rule, kids. You can get like 4 shits, but only one F-bomb.
And I don't know.
And they all add up, like in those memes where it's like, you have $15, make your team. It's like that.
Yeah, I wonder what they're gonna do in the MCU with this character. Like, is it gonna be is it gonna feel like a continuation of Deadpool 2, or is it going to be brand new and PG-13? Like, because I mean, the Deadpool movies are very R movies. Like, they're definitely not PG-13, and they're not. I mean, this is Disney. Like, they're not Disney films. It's, I guess, the simple way of saying it. So I'm really curious as to what they do. But I think this video, in some ways, shows that he can work in the greater MCU and still be funny. And maybe it doesn't necessarily have to be as raunchy and things like that. But I want to see the Deadpool from Deadpool 1, Deadpool 2. Like in a perfect world, it's just rated R. Like I know like it's a Disney film now and it's going to be in the MCU, but just make it rated R. Let it be its thing. Let it be for adults. He'll pop up in other things. He's already popping up with Korg in this random commercial, so he'll be in other stuff. I want to see him and Spider-Man together.
Thank you, David, because I want to see that too. I want to see it this December in Spider-Man No Way Home. You know what I really want? I want Chris Hemsworth as Thor next to Deadpool. Like, think about this, David. I've been thinking about the ways that they could use Deadpool, especially since this. Every MCU movie, he can do a maximum reacts with. Everyone. Right? And it might not be as funny as, like, maybe, Shang-Chi will react like Korg. He's like, very in character and serious. 4 out of 5 avocados. I was raised by avocados. I love that so much. Any tips on getting into the MCU there, Korg? Have a dream. Chase it. Lose that dream. Just sabotage all sorts of happiness in the pursuit of that dream. Climb up to the peaks of that mountain, and when you get to the top, land at the bottom and realize you're never going to achieve that dream. And at that point, check your emails. Maybe you'll get something from your agent saying Marvel wants to talk.
I wonder if Korg is a look at
I
how
prefer
the thing's
Dark
gonna look
World.
in the MCU. Oh yeah, that was so funny.
Right? Like, so I absolutely love it. I think it's brilliant, and I think maybe that's what we get for Deadpool in the MCU until Deadpool 3. Like, he can build hype the same way The Rock builds hype.
Mm-hmm.
He drops anything and instantly, and I'm talking Ryan Reynolds, right? Drops anything and it becomes a hit. Bought Aviation Gin, turned it into like $1 billion sale, I think. Is a big fan of Mint Mobile. First time Rick Moranis is on camera in years is on that. Like,
right.
And his shit breaks the internet. Remember the match? I remember the match. Remember the match commercial with the devil in 2020. I remember. So, like, it's gold. I think the MCU should just keep doing these React videos, Feige, and just promote your own shit. Yeah. I mean, not your Disney Plus stuff, because it wouldn't really vibe. Maybe Hawkeye, but it wouldn't really vibe, right? But it could just be Deadpool by himself. It doesn't have to be with anyone else except for Thor. Need Thor there. Thank you. Thank you for coming to my Thor talk. David, where can everyone find you on social media?
Yes, you guys can find me at my name, David Thompson, on Facebook, at David J. Thompson on TikTok and Instagram. And go follow me, guys, on Twitter. It's at David Thompson with 2 A's in the David. I talk mostly there about all this fun stuff we talk about here on Lights, Thunder, Action. Thomas, what about you?
You can find all of my links at linktree.com/TCRochesterACT. That's TCRochesterACT. That'll get you to my Facebook, my Twitter, my Instagram, and my YouTube, IMDb website, etc., etc. You can follow me everywhere. I'm trying to be more active on Facebook and Instagram now. I was just on Twitter for a while because of all the low keys, all the good stuff. You can find all of the Lights Thunder Action links at linktree.com/LightsThunderAction. All one word, no hyphens, no spaces. And again, don't forget to subscribe to the HWWS Web TV channel on YouTube. And again, as we're wrapping up our show, don't forget that in 20 days from today, Thunder Buddies Inside the Headlines, a Lights Thunder Action special. We'll have our first panel Friday, August 13th at 2:45 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, only to be seen at Megacon at this moment in time. David, we actually have to do one bit of promotion for our show and tell everyone it might be like 13 days before we have another show.
Yeah.
David's a busy boy. I'm a busy boy. He's got some moving to go on and moving to do and a vacation. As you know, he's been moving back. And I have some filming going on at the same time he's on vacation. So we are just down and out of commission for probably about 13-ish days. looking at probably the 5th at the earliest for our next show, which is Suicide Squad Day. So probably not, but we'll see. Right, David?
We will see. We'll be back, and we'll see. There might need to be some sort of emergency happening if Spider-Man drops, but we'll make it happen. We'll make it happen, and very excited for Megacon. Obviously, if you guys can make it, we'll see if there's any sort of streaming thing happening. But if not, maybe come through, check out Megacon, come check us out. We'd love that.
Yes, don't forget to follow us on all of your audio podcast special locations, including Good Pods. We're on Good Pods now, man. That's dope. We've been there the whole time. We will figure out how to change our logo, I assure you, but that's for the future. David, any recommendations for the audience this week?
I'm telling you, old M. Night Shyamalan, underrated. I enjoyed it a lot. There's a lot of bad reviews, and maybe you won't like it. Maybe you'll hate it. I don't know. But me and my girlfriend loved it. Go check out Old. It's in theaters now. I also want to see Snake Eyes, but I haven't seen it, so I can't recommend that. But I enjoyed Old. I think the reviews are being too harsh on it. I think it's a really good movie.
True. Look at us both going way, way, way off brand today, man. Because I'm going to recommend Fear Street 1994 and The Witches, because they are totally very different movies. But Fear Street 1994, spoiler alert, everything takes place on my 3rd birthday, October 1st, 1994. I'm just saying that was a weird birthday, so maybe this is true events. Just kidding. But ladies and gentlemen, that brings us to the end of the show. And as always, there could be no show without the Clark Kent variant to my right, world famous journalist David Thompson, bringing the news and spicy webs. Thank you to Terry McIver for all of his hard work behind the scenes with guests, socials, and research, without whom this show would be absolute bush league. Thank you to the HWWS Web TV channel and family for supporting us on the network, carrying us on the network, supporting us and carrying us on the network. Excuse me, that's not how sentences work, brain. And more importantly, thank you to you, our fans that join us weekly, whether you're watching on Facebook, Twitch, Twitter, YouTube,
or listening via Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, or Spreaker.
We appreciate you spending your time with us.
Please like, follow, subscribe, drop us a comment, leave a review, and give us 5 stars if you're feeling generous. We appreciate all of your support.
As always, I'm Thomas Carter Rochester.
I'm David Thompson.
Thank you for joining episode 65 of Lights Thunder Action. We will see you next time, for all time.